That's a big fucking wolf.
I've done some morbid shit on a first date, but this takes the cake, Rip.
Yeah, well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but everything you know and everyone you see everywhere is gonna die.
You got old.
Yeah. God, you have an edge today. Shit, you might just cheat death yet. Beth? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Cheating death, like you said.
Now, Kelly, your character, she has a hard shell that masks severe damage from an accident involving her late mother. Talk about how you saw this character and why you seem to be having so much fun on the show playing her.
Well, Taylor Sheridan created a monster with her, and I love her so much. The layers, the vulnerability of her, the brokenness of her, the fierceness of her. It was, I think she's sort of something out of a Shakespeare play for me. Like, she's some Greek war goddess, like some badass. I couldn't get enough of what I read. And as we continued on the journey of the show, she just got more and more. She just got bigger, and the loyalty, the thing that roots her, is to her love of her father, who she would do anything for. So all of the crazy kind of goes out of the window, and then she becomes his sort of foot soldier or general, one or the other, general.
Well now, Luke, now your character is very interesting and really maybe the most sympathetic of all the kids in the family. Talk a little bit about him and some of the things that happen that make it impossible for him to sit on the fence in an escalating struggle.
When you meet Casey, you start to realize that his relationship with his family is sort of broken. And because of that, you know, it leads to him having to leave and sort of fend for himself at a young age. He gets someone pregnant and has to start this family. And the way that he figures he's going to take care of himself is by joining the military, becomes a Navy SEAL, and goes off to war. And the things that happen to him over there, you know, we don't really know until you start to find out a little bit in season 2. Kind of just really make normal aspects of daily life sort of impossible for him, sort of, you know, re-assimilating into normal society. So he's dealing with that, but also, you know, dealing with this, where he comes from and where he's going, and having to make a choice between the two. So he's really between a rock and a hard place.
Now, Kevin, I remember hearing you were going to be in this series, and I was like, oh, well, I'm in. Now you're a glove fit for John Dutton, and getting you to star in a series for the first time is a coup. What qualities were here that made this work you taking on as the first open-ended series, really, that you've done?
I think there's not much separates us, and the idea of seeing wide open spaces when the land was almost like the Garden of Eden. I think that, you know, we see a lot on TV, and really, really great TV, and to be able to know that places like this still exist in our country, and then set a drama against its backdrop and actually understand in the realest terms that the meat that arrives on our table is still coming from somewhere. It's coming from people who get up early in the morning and work really late. And so, I mean, we're taught really early as Americans, immigrants coming to America, that if you came from a place where you were a third-class citizen to an open land, and at one point it dawned on everybody that if you were tough enough, if you were mean enough, if you were resourceful enough, and there was no law out there, you could hold on to it, you could keep it. And this family represents 5 generations of that. And that in itself was pretty compelling for me to try to be a part of.